Afternoon, Colonel. Having high tea, I see. Jury's not back yet? Swatting at flies and wrestling with justice in that order. I sure am going to hate to see the jury filing back in, won't you, Colonel? I'm going to miss Hillsborough, and especially this courthouse. A melange of Moorish and Methodist. Must have been designed by a congressman.
Mr. Drummond, what's going to happen?
Well, what do you think's going to happen, Bert?
Well, do you think they'll send me to prison?
Well, they could.
Oh, they don't ever let you see anybody from the outside, do they? I mean, you can't just talk to a visitor through a window? The way they show in the movies.
Ah, it's not as bad as all that. You know, when they started this fire here, they never figured it would light up the whole sky. A lot of people's shoes are getting hot, but can't be too sure.
Well, he seems so sure. He seems to know what the verdict's going to be.
Nobody knows. I've got a pretty good idea. Been a lawyer as long as I have, 1,000 years more or less. Get so you can smell the way a jury's thinking.
Well, what are they thinking right now?
You know, someday I'm going to get me an easy case. An open and shut case. I got a friend up in Chicago. Big lawyer. Oh, Lord, how the money rolls in. You know why? Who would take a case unless it's a sure thing? Like the jockey that won't go into a race unless he gets to ride the favorite.
Well, you sure picked a long shot this time, Mr. Drummond.
Yeah, sometimes I think the law is like a horse race. Sometimes it seems to me I ride like fury just to end up back where I started. Might as well be on a merry-go-round or a rocking horse or golden dancer.
What did you say?
I said golden dancer. That was the name of my first long shot. It used to be behind a big window, big side window in a general store in Wakeman, Ohio. I used to stand out in the street and say to myself, if I had golden dancer, I'd have everything in the world that I wanted. I was 7 years old and a very fine judge of rocking horses. Golden Dancer had a bright red mane, blue eyes, and she was gold all over with purple spots. And when the sun hit her stirrups, oh, she was a dazzling sight to see. But she was a week's wages for my father, so Golden Dancer and I always had this plate glass window between us. Let's see, it wasn't Christmas. Must have been my birthday. I got up in the morning, and there was Golden Dancer at the foot of my bed. Ma had scrimped on his groceries, and my father worked nights for a month. I jumped into the saddle and I started to rock. It broke. It split in two. The wood was all rotten. The whole thing was put together with spit sealing wax. It was all shine and no substance. Look, Bert, whenever you see something bright, shiny, perfect seeming, all gold with purple spots, you look behind the paint. If it's a lie, show it up for what it really is.
I think it's the best place to put it. Throughout you, Your Honor.
And there's no precedent for this sort of thing.
You understand, sir, we're making history here today. This is the first time a public event has ever been broadcast.
Well, I'll allow it as long as it doesn't interfere with the business of the court.
Thank you, sir.
Sir, I gotta talk to you. Over here. This wire just came. The boys down at the state capitol are getting worried about the way things are going. Newspapers are raising such a hullabaloo. The boys are getting nervous. After all, November ain't too far off, and it don't do any of us any good to have any of the voters getting all steamed up. It wouldn't hurt none to let things simmer down some. Well, go easy.
Testing, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Testing, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Hey, what's that?
An annunciator.
Oh, you gonna broadcast?
We have a direct wire to WGN Chicago. As soon as the jury comes in, we'll announce the verdict.
Radio. God, that's gonna break down a lot of walls.
Not supposed to say God on the radio.
Why the hell not?
Not supposed to say hell either.
Well, this is gonna be a barren source of amusement.
Can one speak into either side of this machine?
Yes, sir, either side.
Kindly signal me. My voice does not have sufficient projection for your radio apparatus.
Jury's coming back in.
Everybody rise. Hear ye, hear ye. Court will now reconvene in the case of the State versus Bertram case. Be seated.
What do you think? Can you tell from their faces?
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Harry Y. Estabrook, speaking to you in the courthouse in Hillsborough, where the jury is just returning to the courtroom to render its verdict in the famous Hillsborough monkey trial case. The judge has just taken the bench, and in a few minutes, we shall know whether the Bertram case will be found innocent or guilty.
Gentlemen of the jury, have you reached a decision?
Yeah?
Will the defendant please rise?
Yes, sir, we have, Your Honor.
The jury's decision is unanimous. Bertram case is found guilty.
Hallelujah.
Did you hear that friends out of radio land? Bertram case is found guilty as charged. I can tell you, the confusion here is simply unbelievable. And the next voice you hear will be that of the judge actually pronouncing sentence.
Step right up and get your tickets to the Middle Ages. And you only thought you missed the coronation of Charlemagne.
Bertram case, I hereby sentence you.
Your Honor, a point of order?
Well, sir,
Your Honor, is it not customary in this state to allow the defendant to make a statement before sentence is passed?
Colonel Drummond, I regret the omission and the confusion, and I neglected, Mr. Case. If you wish to make any statement before sentence is passed on you, you may proceed.
Your Honor, I'm not a public speaker. I do not have the eloquence of some of the people you have heard in the past few days. I'm just a school teacher.
Not anymore, you ain't.
Quiet.
That's right. I was a school teacher. I feel I've been convicted of violating an unjust law. And I will continue in the future, as I have in the past, to oppose this law in any way I can.
Bertram Case, this court has found you guilty of violating Public Act Volume 37, Statute number 31428 as charged. This violation is punishable by fine and no imprisonment. But since there has been no previous violation of this statute, there's no precedent to guide the bench in passing the sentence. This court deems it proper to sentence Bertram Case to pay a fine of $100.
Did Your Honor say $100?
That is correct.
Your Honor, the prosecution takes exception. If the court does not mete out more drastic punishment, $200 make an example of this transgressor, to show the world.
Oh, just a minute. The amount of the fine is no concern to me. Bertram Cates has no intention of paying this fine or any other fine whatsoever.
Well, send him back to jail then.
Quiet!
Paying if it was $1 single. Now, we intend to appeal this decision to the Supreme Court of the state. I ask that the court grant us 30 days to prepare the appeal.
Granted,
Thank
court
you.
fixes bond at $500. Well, this seems to end the business of the trial, therefore I declare this court is...
Your Honor, I have a few short remarks which I should like to read into the record.
Objection. Your Honor, I object this. Mr. Brady can read any remarks he likes, long, short, or otherwise, in a Chautauqua tent or in a political campaign. Our business here in Hillsborough is completed. The defense holds that the court should be adjourned.
But I have a few remarks.
Oh, and we all anxiously hear them, sir, but Colonel Drummond's point of procedure is well taken. I'm sure everyone here would wish to remain after court is adjourned to hear your address. I hereby declare this court adjourned. May they die. Please, ladies and gentlemen, won't you be seated so that Colonel Brady can address you? We beg your attention, please.
My dear friends,
Some remarks, I'm sure, would be of interest to all.
your attention, please, fellow citizens and friends of the unseen audience from the hallowed hills of sacred Sinai in the days of remote antiquity came the law, which has been our bulwark and our shield. Age upon age, men have looked to the law as they would look to the mountains. Whence cometh our strength? And here, in this courtroom, we have seen vindicated. We have seen vindicated.
Ladies and gentlemen, our program director of Chicago Vice, our timer is completed. Harry Westabrook speaking. We return you now to our studios and matinee musicale.
From the hallowed hills of sacred Sinai.
Look at him! Get away from me! Stay away from me! Stop you boys! Carry him across the doc's office! Quick, you gotta get past!
Citizens of the United States, during my term in the White House, I pledged to commit my memory for the betterment of the common people of this country. As your new president,